Hey everybody, Maggie here. Welcome back to the kitchen. Today we are making one of my favorite dishes. I probably say that a lot, but this really is a really good one. Y'all know how I feel about y'all know how I feel about bone-in meat, especially bone-in chicken. So this is a bone-in chicken recipe that I serve at the restaurant with thighs. Today at home I'm going to do leg quarters because that's what we have from processing our birds. So the first thing we do, I guess I could tell you what we're making on. It's called mustard chicken. And when I serve it, new people that come to the restaurant will be like, ooh, is it a lot of mustard? And it's not. You get that flavor in with the other ingredients, but it's not overwhelming mustard. It's not like you're eating a corn dog with mustard smeared on it. But if it was a lot of mustard, I'd love it because I love it. But anyway, people love this dish. So it's not hard. You may look at the ingredients and go, ugh, that's a long list. It's really not. And it's super simple. So the first thing we're going to do, and I already took the liberty of doing part of the step, is you mix up kind of a dry rub. So it's salt, pepper, garlic powder, coriander. Mix that up. Got it in a little bowl here. All the measurements are in the recipe. I won't quote those out to you. And then you're going to take your thighs, or in my case, leg quarters, and you're going to rub the seasonings into it and then let it sit for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to flip the camera down so you can see what I'm doing. And then obviously I'll pause it for the 20-minute part. So you don't have to sit here and watch 20 minutes click by. And then we'll come back and get busy. Okay, so what you're going to do, see, I've got one leg quarter in here. My others are over here to the side. The way I usually do it is that I'll just sprinkle a little bit on, and I've got 4 leg quarters, so I just kind of try to divide it in fourths. And you don't have to get it perfect. It doesn't have to cover every square inch, but you just want to get seasoning on the bird. I've never tried this with a whole bird. There's really no reason you couldn't do it that way. I'm sure it would work just perfectly fine. I just don't serve whole birds at the restaurant, obviously. So I haven't done it that way. And at home, I'm usually serving leg quarters to me and my husband. All right. So, and when you let this sit, it's going to sit at room temperature for 20 minutes. So that may wig a few people out. Don't let it. It's not going to hurt a thing for this meat to sit out for 20 minutes. If y'all knew what happened in some restaurants and how things were handled, and anyway, it would change your opinion of a lot of things. But, all right. So you just want to make sure, like I said, get it covered best you can. Just kind of use up all of it. And then this is going to sit off to the side for 20 minutes. And then we're going to come back and sear them in some butter. Pop them in the oven on a high temp, 425. Bake them for a little while, or roast them really. And then pour a little sauce over them that we make. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Y'all, if you do this, you'll love it. Last time I served it, one of my customers texted me later and she was like, this chicken is divine. I think this is one of my top 2 now. So anyway, while we're waiting for the 20 minutes, I'm going to rehydrate some of my dehydrated green onions because we need a half a cup of green onions. So I'm going to let that be happening while this is sitting. But if you're making supper, then you can also prep your vegetables while this is sitting, whatever you're going to serve with it. Get that done while this is sitting, and then it goes in the oven so it comes together really quickly. So y'all hang tight. What we're going to do now, and yes, this skillet is used. This is what we cooked our breakfast in this morning, and I just poured out the bacon grease into my little bacon grease keeper, and I'm jumping in here with this because everything's better with bacon. So it isn't hurting a thing. I mean, if that freaks you out, get a clean skillet. Doesn't freak me out. I like a little bacon grease and everything. So we've got 2 tablespoons of butter. We're just going to get it melted. We've got our stove on high, and we're going to cook our chicken skin side down for 4 minutes and get it really good and seared and kind of brown. Just on the skin side, and then it's going to go into a baking dish. since I've got leg quarters, and let me back up a little bit. The recipe calls for 6 thighs. I have 4 leg quarters, so I've got 4 thighs and 4 legs. So it about equates, you know, yeah, close enough. It's about 3 pounds of meat. So I've got my 9 by 13 baking dish that my chicken's gonna go into when it comes out of the skillet. And I got my big skillet because I'm hoping I can fit it all in here and do it in one session. And I don't know if I'm gonna be able to, but I'm gonna give her a whirl. Oh yeah, we got this. So I tell you what, I'm going to take this last piece of chicken. See, I've got quite a bit of seasoning still in the bowl. I don't want to leave that. So I'm going to wipe what I can with this piece of chicken, which sounds kind of gross. And then just get the rest out with my hand, because I don't see any point in putting seasoning and then leaving it in the bowl. Just kind of wipe it on there. So this is going to go literally 4 minutes. Just like this. You don't have to do anything else because you want the skin to crisp up and it get a nice brown color. Then it's going to go into the baking dish. And then we'll move it into the oven and it'll bake. Well, no, I'm about to leave the mustard out. Good golly. The whole point of the recipe is the mustard. We'll add the mustard, then it goes to the oven. So I'll pause again so y'all don't listen to splattery chicken, and we'll be back in about 3.5 minutes now. Okay, so our chicken has been going 4 minutes. Starting to smoke a little bit, which is fine. I just turned the heat off, and we're going to take our leg quarters, or in your case, if you have thigh, look at that. Beautiful and brown. Lay it in our baking dish. I got my little tiny thongs, good Lord, tongs, because my other ones were in the dishwasher. And I was being lazy and didn't want to get them out and wash them to use them. So, you know, you just go with it. All right. Well, if I can get this last guy out of here. Doesn't that look good already? Something about seared chicken. Oh, love it. All right, now you're going to rub your chicken, my word. Rub your mustard all over your chicken. Now, the recipe says 2 tablespoons. I have really never measured. I just kind of go like that. Just kind of run. I probably actually get a little more than 2. I have done this with stone ground mustard as well. And I've done it mixing stone ground and Dijon. And it's all good. Usually I'd use a spoon. I'm just going to use the back of my little tongs here. And you just want to rub the mustard around on the chicken and get the skin coated. And dang, does it give it a good flavor by the time it's all done and out of the oven and everything's finished and added to it. So once we get this all polished up with the mustard, it's going to go in our 425-degree oven for 20 minutes, uncovered, and just cook just like this. It's going to roast these thighs. Yowzer. Y'all, it smells good. So I'm going to pop this in the oven, and then I'll come back to our skillet, and we're going to make the kind of an au jus sauce that goes over it. And then there's a little twist in here that I think might kind of shock you, but it's really tasty. So hang on. Okay, so our chicken is in the oven. Y'all, I don't know what's wrong with me today. I can't seem to get a good word out. The chicken's in the oven for its 20-minute roasting. Now we're going to make the sauce. So we'll take 2 more tablespoons of butter, and we're just going to do it straight in this same skillet where we seared the chicken, because your seasonings and everything are in here and you don't want to lose those. So you put in your 2 tablespoons of butter, and then we'll let that kind of melt down. And then we're going to add in our 1/2 cup of green onions. And I know I've told y'all in other videos about my dehydrated green onions. Y'all, this is a game changer. If you aren't one to have green onions around for lots of recipes, it works well with bell pepper too. Historically, and I still do this, I'll chop up a bunch and put it in little 1/2 cup measurements and freeze it. And that works great. Great. I do that at the restaurant all day long. But from a freezer space perspective, dehydrated is 1,000 times better. I keep wanting to say freeze dried for some reason. Dehydrated, because it takes up less space. And then you just throw some water in there, rehydrate it, and it is good to go, good as new. And for cooking, it's fantastic. I wouldn't use rehydrated anything, onions or peppers in a salad, because that would be a little ick. But in cooking, it works beautifully. Okay, so 2 tablespoons of butter, our 1/2 cup of green onions. We need a heaping 1/4 teaspoon of oregano and pink Himalayan salt. I'm going to do another pinch for good measure. I like 2 pinches. All right, let's cook that. One thing, if you're using fresh onions, you're probably going to need to minutes to get them softened up. When they're rehydrated, they're already soft. So you cut your, which is a good thing. Let this go for a couple of minutes. Add some chicken stock. Now, one that wants to cook with white wine, it's your kitchen, you do you, that is fine. Just add chicken stock. So it's 2/3 of stock and a half wine. If the wine, just add you a 1/2 cup of stock. Fine. Pause again, sit here and watch this. About 2 more minutes. Okay, so this has got a couple of minutes. Add our 1/2 cup of white additional sugar. I usually first just hit the heat off alcohol a little. You put it and cool it really down. Cool it really down. Cool it down. It doesn't evaporate off quite as well. Anyway, good. As you think I've been hitting the white wine. And then we need 2/3 of a cup of, and I've got my whole here, 2/3 of a cup. It's gonna deglaze the bottom of the pan. All those little cooked on bits. I had it on a low heat. Now I'm gonna turn it up to about a medium and let it heat up good, and then come to a nice simmer and let it go for about 5 minutes. And all these little bits, that's the seasoning that was on the chicken, are gonna loosen up and come off and then be in this juice. It's so good. And then the only thing that's left to do when the chicken comes out of the oven, we'll take it out of the hot pan. We'll put in 8 ounces of fresh spinach in the hot pan, put the chicken back on there, pour this sauce over it, cover it with foil, pop it back in the oven for 5 to 8 minutes just to wilt your spinach, and you're good. You are ready to rock. It's a beautiful dish. And when I said earlier something that might shock you, that was a little drama-ish. I'm not sure why I said that. Just that it's served over a bed of spinach. Wow, real shocking, I know, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little different putting it over the fresh spinach. I love it. There's something about a bite of that really flavorful chicken with the crusty mustardy skin and some wilted spinach and this sauce that is to die for. Okay, so we've got about 10 minutes left on our chicken in the oven, and then this goes for about 5. So yet again, boys and girls, I'm going to pause so you don't have to watch this simmer, and then we'll be back. When the simmer's up, I'm just going to cut it off. When the chicken's ready to come out of the oven, we'll come back and I'll put this together, and then we're just about done. So our chicken has come out of the oven and it smells like heaven. I wish y'all could smell it. Our sauce finished cooking and it reduced. That's one thing I didn't mention earlier. when you're simmering on the stove and don't cover your pot, you're losing liquid, you're evaporating liquid, so you're reducing your sauce. So whatever it is, it'll get a little thicker or less volume. So that's what happened to this one, and it makes the flavors kind of more intense and more rich. If you covered it, then it's just going to steam in there and keep the amount of liquid, and so it's not going to reduce and thicken like it does when you simmer it uncovered. So anyway, just a little tip there if you weren't aware of that. So now we're going to take our 8 ounces of spinach, and I just dropped one on the floor. That's fantastic. And I had a couple of these 5-ounce organic spinach containers, weighed out a few more ounces, and you know how spinach is. It looks like we have 400 pounds. Yowzer, that pan is hot. But by the time it finishes wilting down, it will look like this much. And that's okay. Now, one thing you can do, if you don't want to fool with this step, I like it because I just like to serve it this way. You could put your spinach in the sauce and cook it down that way, as opposed to taking your chicken out and putting it back like I'm doing. To me, this is not a big deal. It takes 2 seconds, and I just like having the spinach cooked like this. So now we're going to take our sauce, and I don't know if I'll be able to do this where y'all can see, and just pour it all over as evenly as we can, making sure to get it on the chicken, try and get it all over the spinach. And you see tons and tons of goodie left, which we're not going to let that happen. Try and scrape some of that seasoning off. So I'm going to get all of these are green onions and spices mostly, and just get that in our baking dish. Now, at this point, you're going back in the oven simply to wilt the spinach. So what I'm going to do is, the chicken's cooked, so I'm going to put some tin foil over this and kind of tint it, you know, just get it to poke up some, because you know how I am about foil on my food. But make sure that it's sealed tight. Whew, I gotta put my gloves on. This dish is hot. I mean, being in a 425-degree oven, that's what happens. But I told my foil way too big. We just want to put this back in there, tightly covered, so that the spinach wilts. But I'm going to turn the oven off. It's been on 425 for 30 minutes. It's plenty hot enough that it'll wilt the spinach down. So you pop it back in there, you know, 8-ish minutes, and you're done. So I'll come back when that's over and show y'all what the finished product looks like. Just pulled it out of the oven, and there she blows. Yum-y. It smells amazing. It's a beautiful dish, and it tastes great. And if you use really good quality local chicken and high quality ingredients, organic spinach, please only use organic spinach if at all possible. It's on the Dirty Dozen. It holds a lot of pesticides, so it's one of those things that you really want to do organic. But y'all, this is one of the best dishes ever. We're fixing to chow down. Boom, there's our supper. Mustard chicken on a bed of that wilted, delicious spinach from that au jus that we made, some fresh garden tomatoes, and some saffron rice. Quick, easy, nutritious, tasty. Y'all give this dish a try. I think you'll really, really like it. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you here on the next video.